Welcome back to Runeverse. I'm Andrew, and in this video I'm playing Arcana Rising. So I'm going to be playing the solo version, which is important because it's pretty similar but also different from the multiplayer version. So I want to do a quick rundown of how the multiplayer version differs from solo before I go ahead and show you the solo game. So this is a drafting game. So unlike this pyramid of cards I have set up currently, ignore that, and just imagine instead you sit down with 1 to 5 friends, and each of you gets dealt 6 of these level 1 cards. You're going to look through these cards, choose one, and you'll see what you do with those cards. You have 2 options, but I'll get to that later because that part does work the same in solo. But you're going to choose one of the 6 cards and pass the other 5 to the player on your left. You will then receive 5 cards from the player on your right. Choose one of those 5 cards, use it again in a way that I'll show you, pass 4 to your left, and so on until you have selected 6 cards over the course of the round. And you'll be playing a round with a level 1 deck. At the end of the level 1 round, you will play a level 2 round. During that round, you'll pass to the right, and then you'll play a 3rd round, passing to the left again using the level 3 deck. So that's a very basic rundown of how you get the cards. It's just a simple drafting. If you already know what drafting is, it's the most basic form of drafting. If you didn't know what drafting is, hopefully that was enough of an explanation. You're just passing cards around, but that's not what we're going to be doing today. Instead, I'm going to be getting my cards from this pyramid. In a way, I'll be drafting against myself or against the setup. So as you can see, there are 6 face-up cards here. That simulates the 6 initial cards you would get in a multiplayer game. There are then 5 face-down cards that will be my cards for my second pick. After I've picked from 6, I will reveal the 5 and choose from those. I can see what my options will be from among 4 cards. After I've played that turn, I will reveal the 3, choose from those, and then I'll pick from these 2, which again I can see ahead of time and plan a little bit. And then finally I'll get 1 mystery card at the end. And this is a pretty quick game. I played 1 practice game last night. I just got the game, so I haven't had a lot of time, and I want to get a video up. Hopefully I don't suck too bad. So the way this scoring system works for solo is you just check your final score on this chart. So it'll say 1 through 29, you're still an apprentice. 30 to 39, you are proficient. 40 to 49, 50 to 59, and 60 plus. Now I scored 34, which is just above the lowest tier, so hopefully I can do better today. I was still figuring out some things. I think I have a better handle on it now. Not only the strategy, but the rules. But we'll see whether that is true. 2 more caveats before I start. One is that there is a small deck of these cards that came in my version of the game. These are called decrees. Here's an example. Decree of Plenty. At the beginning of each round, gain 1 resource of your choice other than gold. And there's a deck of these that all do different things. The rules do not cover what these are, but I believe the intention is that you would, as you set up the game, choose one at random, or everyone gets to choose which one decree you want to play with that game, and it would just be a slight modifier to the way the game plays out. You could either choose one at the start of each game, or you could choose one at the start of each round. If I did one at each round, I'd probably let everyone see what's going to happen, because there's a lot of randomness in the game, in the drafting, which provides plenty of surprises already, and it'd be nice to plan around the decrees. The other caveat is that some of the components in this deluxe edition may not be in the standard edition, so depending on which version you decide to pick up. I know this point tracker abacus, there's 6 of these in the deluxe version. The normal version, I believe, would just have cardboard counters in 1s, 5s, and 10s for victory points. I also have these counters here, which in the basic edition are just cardboard. And I think the third thing is that this bag comes embroidered, and the basic version of the game has a non-embroidered bag, I believe. There could be other stuff I'm not sure about, so make sure you check out the standard versus deluxe if you decide to go that route. Otherwise, let's get started. So I have my player board. It looks like this if you want to see a close-up. We've got 5 different schools of magic. There's the charms, the herbs, the blood, which is kind of cut in half here. That's where the fold is. And then we've got potions and alchemy, which makes gold. As you can see, a gold is worth a point at the end of the game. There's also a special alchemy action that I may get the opportunity to do during the course of the game. Similarly, potions, 3 potions is worth 1 point at the end of the game. And here's a basic potion action to gain a potion. And the same thing for charms. and herbology. Blood is a little bit different in that it's actually worth -1 point per blood. I have started with one of each resource, and the first thing I do is choose one card. And I'm going to have two choices when I take that card, is either to play it, in which case I have to pay for it, or I can discard it in order to cast. So to cast, I actually look at the current round on this tracker board. And this is a random setup from the bag. These chips go into the bag and we pull them out at random at the start of each round. So you'll see me set that up for round 2. But if I were to forego one of these cards, rather than take one and pay for it, I would instead take it and discard it. I would then get to cast potions and charms, or rather charms and potions, because that's the order they're printed on the board. I don't have any charms or potions cards yet, so what I would do is just do the pre-printed abilities on the board. So I would gain 1 charm and I would gain 1 potion, and that would be it. Not a great first turn, so it's probably better to find one to buy, but it's important to look at these because I can plan ahead which round I might want to forego a card in order to cast. For example, I might think, I think I'll cast on this turn here. Now I will say I was a little bit confused by this tracker. Slight caveat. The 6 is the first turn because there are 6 cards available. The 5 is the second turn or round because there are 5 cards available in that round. So the numbers are kind of inverted from what I would say. But when there are 6 cards available, probably going to want to choose one. But I might want to say when there, maybe on turn 3, when there are 4 cards available, I will want to forego a card and cast Blood and Alchemy. In that case, I would probably want to pick up a Blood card and an Alchemy card in rounds 1 and 2 in order to then in round 3 cast both of those effects. But that might be too much too soon, so maybe I'll just choose what I'm going to do and explain it as we go. So I'm going to start out with this card here, Massive Growth. So let's dissect this a little bit. Now all of these cards except for one, this one here, this is an artifact card which is only used for endgame scoring. If you buy this card, you set it aside and check it at the end of the game to see if you've scored it. There's another type of card called an event, which when you buy it, you immediately resolve it and then discard it. The rest of these cards are all spells. There are no events currently out. And so let's take a look at this one. First of all, in the top left corner, you can see it has a leaf symbol, so it matches up with the Herbology School of Magic. Then on the left, you can see there are 2 different options for paying its cost. You can either pay with 3 blood or 3 of any combination of resources, which is a little bit weird that it would even have that option for 3 blood, since you could just pay 3 blood as generic resources. So I'll admit I'm a bit confused by that, but it's 3 is what we have to pay. And then you see the title, Massive Growth, and then it says 3 leaf, gain 3 herbs. Those are saying the same thing. You can either look at the big icon or you can read the text for clarification, but this one's very simple. If we cast a spell, we will gain 3 herbs. But we're not casting it right now. We chose to prepare a spell, which means we need to pay for it. I'm going to go ahead and pay with an herb because we're going to now be able to gain more. I'll pay with blood because that's a negative victory point. And I'll pay with a potion because I don't know what else to pay with. And now what we do is take this card and slide it into my tableau so that just the spell portion is showing. And in the future, when I choose to cast spells, I will get to cast that as long as I'm casting Herbology, which I can do in the second turn, depending on what the 5 cards are that show up. Now, these other 5 cards I didn't pick. These are all gone. So again, this simulates drafting in that when you pick one card, the rest of them you are passing to one of your opponents, and they're all going to be gone. If you're playing with fewer than 6 players, some of them might come back, and you'd get to pick from them again. But that kind of preview of information concept is simulated here by the fact that we've got more cards showing for our future picks. So another thing I should do is remove these. We did not choose to cast, so these 2 are just gone. We'll use them again when we set up round 2. Now to play turn 2, I'm going to reveal these 5 cards and just do the same thing as I did the first time and select one of these and then choose what to do with it, either prepare or cast. And it might be early, but I actually do want to cast, in part maybe to show you how it works, but also I think I just want to. So I'm going to take this Universal Alchemical Theory. The other 4 cards are gone out of the game, and that is an interesting distinction for the solo game specifically, because those 4 cards would be passed to an opponent. In this case, they're out of the game, but this card is actually going to be discarded. So when you choose to cast, you discard the card you chose. and you discard it into your discard pile. So there's an indicated position. I'm just going to put it here. And in my first game I played, I did not make that distinction. I just threw out everything. I figured I don't need it anymore, but there are actually some card effects that care about your discard pile, which is why I did make a careful selection of which card to choose, even though I'm not going to be using it, at least right now. So I've made my pick out of the cards, discarded it in order to cast, and I'm going to be casting Herbology and Alchemy in that order because that's the order they're printed on the player board. So I get to cast all these spells. First one is gain 1 herb, so I'll put 1 token here. Second one is gain 3 herbs, so I'll put 3 here. And then the Alchemy is actually spend any 1 resource to gain 1 gold. So I'll spend 1 charm to gain 1 gold, which is nice because a charm is 1/3 of a point and a gold is 1 point. Now I can remove these and move on to turn 3. And I would like to take this exponential growth card, and I'm going to pay with one of my herbs because the option is either 1 blood or 1 of anything. Again, kind of weird. And this one has a little bit more iconography, but again, the text is there to clarify. Add a token to this card, then gain 1 herb per token on this card. So right now there are no tokens on it, but as soon as we cast it, it will get 1 and then give us 1 herb. Second time we cast it, we will get 2 herbs. Third time we cast it, we will get 3 herbs. So we're building up an herb engine. These cards are out of the game, and we don't need these because we didn't cast. So we'll reveal our 4th turn 3 cards. And none of these cards looks particularly exciting. I did flip an artifact, so we can take a look at what that looks like. It's actually free to buy. We would then set it aside, and at the end of the game, we would check to see whether we have the most cards under potions. So we would need several cards here. Right now, we have our most cards under Herbology. So unless we plan to make a big pivot, I don't know that I want to go for this. We're almost 1/3 of the way done with the game already. Although you would know better than I do because you're the one who can look at the duration of the video. I think I'm going to go for this one, Alchemical Theory of Desire. I'm going to pay with 3 of anything, which will be my 3 herbs. And it gives me an extra spell I can cast when I do Alchemy to spend 2 charms, which I don't have any of, in order to gain 2 gold. So I'll need to figure out how to do that, but that's a pretty good conversion of charms into gold. These 2 cards are gone. These are gone. And now I have these choices. I had no intention of taking either of these because I wanted to use my Herbology again. So I'm going to go ahead and cast. I'm going to choose this one to send to my discard pile, and this can go away. We're going to cast Charms and Herbology. So we do get the basic charm spell of 1 charm. I'm going to get 1, 4, 5 herbs because this is going to grow. And then we'll play the final round. So the final turn of the round, you have only 1 option. And if you choose to cast with it, it's actually a special situation. As you may have noticed, we don't have any tokens there. You can still choose to cast, but what you do is cast 1 spell from every school, and that 1 spell is whatever is at the bottom. So here it would be this. Here it would be this exponential growth, because that's the most recent one we got. We'd get 1 blood, 1 potion, and we'd get to use our ability to spend 2 charms for 2 gold, although we don't have, or we would then have 2 charms, so that does not sound too bad. Card we could choose is Charm the Dryads. If you have 1+ Herbology cards, gain 2 charms. We do have that, so I actually don't mind that rather than casting, although that last card cast is pretty nice, getting to hit all 5 schools. On the other hand, this is cheap, and it will give us charms to then convert later. So I'm going to go ahead and prepare this. I don't know if I'll regret that later, but we'll pay with only the 1 herb and put this into charms. So we got 4 prepared spells. 2 cards in our discard pile. Technically these 4 herbs are worth 1 point, or 3 is worth 1 point, and then 1 left over, and then 2 gold is worth 2 points. So let's set up for round 2. So now is when we take the bag and we take all of these magic school tokens that we've set aside, put them in the bag and mix them around. And then we can set up to see which pairs of schools we're going to have during round 2. Oh, double potions round. Pretty sure we won't be casting that. Charms and Blood. It's a little bit tempting because of our charms. Oh, but Charms and Herbology, that's the round we definitely want to be casting. Double Alchemy. I would not mind picking up a couple more Alchemy spells to play off that. And then Blood, Herbology. We probably will want to activate Herbology again because we have a lot of herb income there. So we might want to do something with Blood, but if all else fails, we'll just do the 1 blood. And again, blood is actually -1 point, so maybe we don't want that much. And then we'll set up the cards. I've already shuffled our level 2 deck, so we'll just do the pyramid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So again, I'm thinking I definitely don't care about this double potion, so I want to buy something here. Prepare a spell, rather. So I actually have two tempting options here. One is to conjure a temporal rift, and this is an event card, first one we're looking at here. If we pay for this, we will resolve it and discard it, and that will be the end of it. But it says to cast one discipline of our choice twice. So we would get 13 more herbs after paying 5, so we would net 8. So that sounds pretty good. But I think I'm actually going to buy the natural alchemical conversion, which I am a little bit worried about, I admit, because we can't pay the 2 charms. We're 1 off from being able to pay with the 2 charms. So we have to pay 4, which is going to leave us with 1 herb and 2 gold, and we probably don't want to cast in turn 2 because it's just charms and blood. We would get some charms out of it, but we won't really have much left to afford whatever we might want to buy in lieu of casting. But being able to spend 3 herbs to gain 3 gold is really nice, with the double alchemy coming up as well. So I am going to buy this and almost put myself broke here. So these are gone. These are gone. And let's see what we've got here. And this is really nice. Enthrall the Dryads. We're going to pay only 1 gold, so we don't have to completely broke ourselves. And if we have 1+ herbology cards, gain 2 charms and a point. So now we have charms and herbology playing off each other, or rather charms and alchemy are both playing off of herbology. So that was our pick from there. And we can go to the next pick, where we're just not going to take anything. We're going to cast. So actually, we do need to pick 1 to discard. And then these will go, and we're going to cast charms and herbology. Charms will give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 charms, as well as 1 victory point, the first abacus movement here. And we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 herbs with this exponential growth moving up to 2. So now we have 7 herbs, 5 charms, and 1 gold. And we can go to turn 4 with these 3 cards, and we kind of do want to double alchemy, though we'll kind of be putting ourselves broke to do so. The game is short. Let's get some points. I guess we'll take this one to discard. I don't think we'll use that later. We're going to cast alchemy twice. So we'll spend a resource for a gold, and that will be an herb. Then we'll spend 2 charms for 2 gold. Then we'll spend 3 herbs for 3 gold. Then we'll spend 1 resource for 1 gold. Then we'll spend 2 charms for 2 gold. Then we'll spend 3 herbs for 3 gold. And that's a nice chunk of points. And the game did include some of the non-deluxe cardboard tokens. So I'm going to do a 5 there and a 5 here. So the cardboard ones are nice to have around. And we can move to the penultimate turn here with these 2 options. I think I will buy this golden draft. So this is the first potions card we've looked at, and several of them do have this feature, which is that they are limited uses. So we're going to pay 1 gold to pay that top cost. And when we activate it, we'll gain 3 victory points, and then we'll put a token on it. And it says to discard this card if there is a token on it, otherwise add a token. So basically we get to use it twice. We'll probably see that play out. So go ahead and put that in my potions slot. And then take a look at the final card. Although I could have activated herbs there, but we're going to activate some stuff now most likely. This is very tempting. Cultivate Mastery. If I wouldn't have to pay 5 gold for it, I would probably buy this. If you have 6+ herbs, gain 2 victory points. And we'd put it at the bottom of our herbology stack, so we'd pretty much always meet that requirement. But we don't have the 3 charms. We'd have to pay 5 gold. And I think we'll just go ahead and do the special casting actions. We're going to discard this. Maybe we can dig it back out and cast the bottom spell of each stack. So here, if we have 1+ herbology cards, gain 2 charms and 1 VP. Here we gain a token here, and then we gain as many herbs as it has tokens. So that is now 3 from exponential growth. Blood Arts gives us 1 blood. Potions, we actually get 3 points because this is our bottom spell, not this. So we don't get a potion. Instead, we put a token on this card to show it's been used once, but we get 3 points, putting us up to 5. And then we can cast this bottom effect, which is spend 3 herbs for 3 gold. So I'll go ahead and do that. And it's time for round 3, the final round. Closing in on the end of the game already. All right, we got alchemy, charms, potions, alchemy again, blood, potions, charms, herbology, blood, and the last herbology there at the end. It's an unfortunate pairing. We didn't get herbology with alchemy. We got our alchemies really early, which means we kind of want to run charms and alchemy when we have the most options, but we're not going to have the herbs to use the natural alchemical conversion. We would get 5 charms and a point though. Let's go ahead and set up the cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And I actually don't think I want any of these cards anyway. So maybe I don't feel bad running my engine, running charms and alchemy. So a couple examples of cards here. We have the Treasure of the Archmage. We can spend 9 charms for 8 points, which is great. Or we can spend 13 of anything for 8 points. But we mostly just have gold. I'm not going to pay 13 gold for 8 points, or even 10 gold for 8 points. So that one won't work. We have the Treasures of Memory card. Same problem. We have to spend a bunch of gold in order to get fewer than that in points. We currently have 5 discarded cards. So maybe if I had 8 potions, I'd be happy to do that. I'm sure we'll get a bigger discard pile by the end of the game. But I don't think I want any of these other cards either particularly much. So I'm going to send this 8-point one to my discard pile. Costs 9 charms in case that ever comes up later. Go ahead and lose these. And we're going to cast charms and alchemy. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus a point. You can spend 1 resource for gold. We'll spend a blood. 2 charms for 2 gold. And 3 herbs for 3 gold, but we don't have it. Up to 18. Take these off and go to turn 2 with these 5 cards. So we only get to run alchemy 1 more time, and that's right now. We get 3 points out of it because we could do the base option plus the 2 charms. We don't have the herbs, or we can run it 1 final time here, but that will be only for the 3 herbs. So I'm actually seeing a nice little sequence. I'm going to cast this event, Summon the Triumvirate of Power. I need to pay 3 potions or 5. I'm going to pay my 5 charms, and I get to cast 1 spell 3 times and then discard that spell. And that's going to be exponential growth. It currently has 3 tokens on it, so we're going to cast it once, putting the 4th token on it and gaining 4 herbs. Then we'll put the 5th token on it and gain 5 herbs. Then we'll put the 6th token on it and gain 6 herbs, putting us to nice clean 15. We then have to discard the exponential growth, and we'll discard this event, which ends this turn. And now on the next turn, I think I'm going to go ahead and grab this other event, which says, move 1 spell card in your tableau to the bottom of an adjacent discipline and cast the new discipline. This is going to give us a new way to cast alchemy, although we just spent all my charms, but I guess that's okay. So I need to pay 2 gold, the easy mode of that cost. And we're going to move this golden draft here to alchemy and then cast alchemy. So we're going to spend 1 herb to make a gold. Can't do the charms. We'll spend 3 herbs for 3 gold, and then we'll cast golden draft. We get 3 victory points, and then it already has a token on it, so it is discarded. And that is this event. Then we will go to turn 4. These are done. Reveal our 3 options. From here on out, I think we're just casting for points because resources are points. So every third of a charm is a point, every third of an herbology or an herb is a point. So I'll just discard this to cast charms and herbology for 5 charms and 1 point and 4 herbs. That's it. Puts us at a nice clean 10. And then we can do herbology again. So these are my 2 options for the penultimate turn of the game. If you have 1+ potions cards, get 3 VP. That won't help us. Or gain 2 herbs and 2 VP. If I cast herbology, I'm only getting 4 now because I lost my exponential growth, which is actually only 1 1/3 points. And then I also lose a point because I'm making the blood. I think you are actually allowed to skip a spell if you don't want to cast it. So I wouldn't be forced to get that negative point. So I think I am going to take this natural power to prepare it. I'm going to pay with 1 charm and 2 herbs. I think this math makes sense. If at the end of the game it doesn't, I'll move 1 herb to charms. We'll see how this goes. If I were playing in a serious setting, I would take more time to figure it out exactly. That will put us in the last turn, and unless this is an extremely tempting card, we're going to be doing 1 of each school. says we can pay 3 charms to prepare it, spend 4 blood for 4 gold. Well, we don't have any blood, so we're going to cast the bottom of each, so we get 2 more charms plus a point from Enthrall the Dryads. Natural Power gives us 2 more points and 2 more herbs. We'll go ahead and skip the blood. We'll take 1 potion, although it doesn't matter. And then here we can spend 3 herbs for 3 gold. Convert 5 of these into a 5-point token. And all there's left to do is score. So this is 1 point and 2 points for my charms. Puts me up to 15. 5, 10, 12 herbs is 4 points, so 19. 1 potion is nothing. And 5, 10, 15, 23 gold. 23 gold actually puts me up to 42. Looks like it only goes up to 54. So let's see where 42 puts me. Puts me in 1 tier up from last time. So I was a proficient mage and my knowledge was impressive. I'm now in the tier that says you are a master magic user. Your skills are known far and wide. Perhaps transcendence and godhood await me sometime in the future of playing Arcana Rising. But anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions as I slightly fumbled through this, but I think I got the hang of it. Although clearly I can do better if the rulebook scoring examples are to be considered. Subscribe so we can get more subscribers, and bye.